Hello. I am coming on here fresh. Fresh in the way that, I have had, so the reason for the title, right? Adverse reactions to essential oils. Let's just jump into that. So that's why I'm here. I'm fresh. Hey, how's it going? So thanks for joining. So I'm talking about adverse reactions to essential oils because I just finished a conversation with somebody who started on oils and instantly had an adverse reaction to them, and it frightened this person, which I don't blame them because there's a lot attached to this. And what I wanted to talk about is we have this relationship or idea of essential oils as nice smells, and safe in the sense that they can be easily mixed with medications when nothing is further from the truth. They cannot be mixed with medications. And a good example of that is over the weekend, I was around somebody who loves just to waft Palo Santo, likes to light the wood on fire and just waft it. And since starting my oral chemo, I've not been able to be even around the oil itself. And so when this was kind of like lingering in the air, it wasn't even the direct smoke, I started coughing. I mean, I could just feel this reaction happening. And that is because of the methyl furan in it. Methyl furan is a metabolite of puglione. Puglione, and I don't know that I'm saying that properly, but it is the constituent within Palo Santo. And what this chemical actually does in the body, and among several things, is the primary thing one of the things that it'll do is it's a direct impact on the liver. And it will, with prolonged use or excessive use, inhibit hepatic glutathione production. And as you know, glutathione is, hey, euphoria. So glutathione is an anti-inflammatory hormone that the body produces, but using Palo Santo with what I was doing, with what I take, is detrimental to my own health. Welcome, everybody. So if you have any questions, by all means, let me know. So therefore, like I said, I had somebody just start on oils. I made the recommendations for them. She started on them, and then within the first 24 hours, started having amplified her anxiety, created a lot of discomfort. It just created a lot of discomfort and unease in her system. And of course, the first thing that I tell people to do whenever that happens is to step away. Stop using them. We need to rethink about how you're applying them. Because whenever I recommend oils for anybody, it's always in comparison to what medications, if they're taking any, and making sure that they don't conflict on the liver like the Palo Santo does with the oral chemo. And making sure of that, and then therefore beyond that, any adverse reactions. And again, we have this relationship that they're supposed to smell good. Well, keep in mind that if you've had any sort of historical trauma in your life, and it's related to a smell, or let me just say it this way. I've worked in treatment facilities, and there's always a relationship between the smell and in our past experiences. This is the reason why they trigger memories. So it's very possible that something from your past, an oil that you use may actually smell like something from the past, and that's going to actually trigger body memory. And that particular type of reaction, I would label that as well as an adverse reaction. And at the same time, we have to be mindful of that because this may be the key to healing that cellular trauma, but it's going to require that you use it in a way that doesn't trigger that sense of smell, because as soon as you smell it, it's going to throw you back. And so my suggestion at that point and what I suggested to this person is to start using them on the feet. Don't even touch them. Stick your feet in socks and shoes and go on about your day. Now it's actually helping the body, but at a microdose, literally microdosing oils in order to prevent the adverse reaction and begin to help reverse the production of oxidative stress. The longer you've been on the planet, the more oxidative stress your body has produced, because in all reality, every single one of us has an active stress response, no matter what. And it's not just related to mind and mood, it's related to the chemical in the imposement, the way we are imposed upon with chemicals. Air that we breathe, the things that we drink, the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear. A lot of, even in the US, our clothes are treated with nanotechnology to keep, antimicrobial nanotechnology. These things are actually infusing our bodies, and so the inclusion of oils as a lifestyle is critical to protecting you. And at the same time, should you have an adverse reaction, and that couldn't be, and here's the deal, I actually have a safety and dilution handout. It's like 5 pages. I'm happy to provide that to you. If you want that, just DM me and request it, and I'll send you the PDF link. But the bottom line is that whenever you have an adverse reaction, the first thing you want to do is stop using them altogether. Okay, get your system clear, because that tells me the body is really overreacting. It's like super sensitive, and now it's overreacting, and so your body cannot clear that oxidative stress or eliminate it fast enough. It's clearing it, but it can't eliminate it fast enough, so it's backing up and causing all of this emotional angst and any other symptom that you may be feeling. So quit them altogether. Up your water intake. Really drink a lot of water. Flush your system and give yourself 3 to 4 days of just literally letting your body clear itself. After which, you can now resume the use of your oils, but like I said, at a microdose amount, like literally a single drop, making sure to use a carrier oil, not aloe. Okay, aloe will increase the absorption rate. A carrier oil itself will slow down that absorption rate. And again, this is probably the best, and I've done this several times with people. I've worked with people who have had hair and nail salons, and have been, that level of toxicity has really hypersensitized their system. So we had to go at microdosing them. I've had other people come to me that just literally had some really serious histamine intolerance there, and there was nothing in particular in the life that had brought that on. It was just the system itself, again, due to individuality and of the way the body reacts to stress, or stressors rather. So in her case, we actually, again, microdosed, and it took almost 9 months to get her back up to where she could use what I would consider a normal dose. 9 months may seem like a long time, but now it's more of she's back to being able to eat more foods. So her system has become more sustainable as far as health and wellness is concerned, and she's no longer treating just the symptoms. The system is now almost in a very balanced, stable way. And like I said, she's been able to add foods back into her diet. But this took time. We're seriously talking, like in her case, I think I was suggesting 4 drops of an essential oil in 10 mLs. That is minuscule, but that's what she needed, and that's what worked. And that's another reason why it took almost 9 months to bring it up, because we were using such a low dose. So these are ways that you can work with an adverse reaction. The thing to remember, though, is if it causes a skin rash, you're probably going to want to delay up to a week before you come back to using it if there's a rash that develops, just because you want to make sure to flush the system. Because what this signifies is that the lymph system, again, it's not clearing, and so you want to make sure to add lemon juice to your water, not lemon oil, because there's a big difference between lemon juice and lemon water, or lemon oil, pardon me. Because lemon juice has bioflavonoids in it, where lemon oil has essential oil constituents in it that are not bioflavonoids. And the bioflavonoids are what's actually going to help move the lymph and keep your kidneys protected. Other things that you can do to protect your kidneys when you are flushing from an adverse reaction is to actually add beet powder to it, or eat beets, because beets will actually support the kidneys as well. That's my primary concern, is to get that lymph and kidney system taken care of so that it can begin to clear efficiently, so that you don't have these backups. But again, once you resume using oils, you want to go back to using them in a small amount. And it's always wise to, just check in with your body. Your body knows. You can increase it a little bit and see how it responds. And if you get if it's, copacetic, everything's cool, then go with it from there and just continue to move forward. But that would be my best suggestion, because adverse reactions are definitely possible. Again, whether you, especially with medications, and again, you don't want to duplicate the mechanism of action with medications and oils, and that means like oils that are known for being good uplifting, right? When you use them, when in the case of anxiety or depression, well, more like depression. And if you're taking an antidepressant, you don't want to use the oils that are used for that purpose, because you're going to have a conflict there again on the way the body is clearing the medication. And you could have a different type of adverse reaction, which would be more of a what I call, or we call in pharmacology, an additive effect, which means if it's kind of keeps you, sustains your mood, it might make you a little bit more wired to the point where you can't fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? Or it could have the exact opposite, where you just experience more of the depression. I mean, it can go in any direction, and this is what happens oftentimes when we mix meds with oils. But there again, adverse reactions also happen if you're not familiar with oils and you're just now getting used to them, and you start off using a lot, and the system can't handle it all. Hey Jake, thanks for joining. So yeah, so if you're new to oils, then it's wise to start slow. It's really wise to start at a slower amount and build your body up, because again, after a few decades of being on the planet, there's a buildup of oxidative stress in the system. Pardon the vacuum cleaner in the background if you can hear that. At least it's a clean house. But that said, so you want to make sure that you just start off incrementally if you're not familiar with them. Now that there again, if you have if you come from a history of trauma, of any kind of trauma, and as I mentioned in the beginning, smell, after working with people in recovery from addiction and trauma, working with oils, because I was doing that, I became very well aware of the effect of smell, and in the sense that smells could easily trigger. And I've talked about this a lot with autism as well. The smells will trigger these kinds of reactions. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad for you. It just means that it's affecting, that's how potent they are. It's affecting something within the system. And so the importance here is don't seek, the conventional model seeks to relieve symptoms. And there's nothing wrong with that. We definitely want to have relief from a symptom, because discomfort just leads to more dis-ease. But that said, we also want to go into systemic relief. Okay, so a symptom deserves it deserves more than to be relieved. It deserves to be paid attention to, and we need to tap into it and recognize that a symptom is basically a body that's distressed. It's a body that has been distressed, and it's now even further distressed. So the whole concept here is to work with it. And that said, if you have an adverse reaction to a smell, then hey Valerie, so if you have a reaction to a smell, it's always wise to dial it down and build it back up, especially if it's to the smell. What you want to do, as I said, you could put it on your feet, and at that point it's tucked in your shoes, you can't smell it, but it's still having some benefits to the system. And drinking lots of water, but again, at a microdose level. I mean, a seriously microdose level, because these oils are potent and you don't want to mess around with them. That's the reason why I say, even though they're regarded as safe, pardon the vacuum cleaner, even though they're regarded as safe, they can still have an effect on the system that will leave us, what is the word I'm looking for? Concerned. It will leave us concerned. And again, with the conventional model of medicine, what we have is there's a symptom, we got to back off. We got to stop doing whatever you're doing. And that doesn't necessarily mean, like for instance, like a cold, right? If you get a cold, that's a symptom. Okay, the symptoms of a cold, well, we know what they are, right? Congestion, runny nose, and so forth. Our typical MO, like the conventional models, tells us to go to the store and go get symptom relief. So that, well, why? Because so that we can continue to work and we continue to be productive. And, we push through this, but we have to relieve the symptom. Well, I'm coming from is, understand that there's a symptom that needs to be relieved, and at the same time recognizing it that it's the body asking to be relieved of distress. So finding ways to support that. I don't know if this is making any sense. It's making sense in my head. Um, um, it's just that I guess what I'm saying is, like I said, I started this off by this is fresh because what I'm here on this planet is to promote the use of oils. And what I want for everyone is to get the most benefit from the oils. And sometimes it takes all the time it takes honoring the body. I have to stop and remind myself that I've been working and using oils now on my own body for 30 years, 30 plus years. So the way my system reacts to it is not going to be anything like somebody who's brand spanking new to oils. There's going to be a different reaction. But the last thing we want to do is allow it to frighten us to the degree that we no longer use them. That's where my heart breaks. Because I see people all the time stop using them because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to their system, and it's bringing up more in their system than they ever expected. And while that may be the case, there are ways to work through that and facilitate healing, even if it is at the microdose level. So that's where my heart is right now. That's the reason why I popped in here, was to just really share that what I really want for everyone is to get the most out of oils. And that's what I'm here for. And if you have any questions, if you've gone this far and you've watched this, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to answer those challenges, because a challenge is, and what I see adverse reactions as, is a challenge. They're a challenge for us to show up. It's an opportunity for us to show up. And what I want, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but ultimately my heart is, and the reason I was placed on this planet was that to promote the use of oils in a way that promotes ease and comfort, regardless of what that looks like. It's not going to look like a prescription where everybody has to do the same thing at the same time. It may mean that one person gets to use 2 drops and you get to use half a drop. That's what it may mean. So everybody is unique. Everybody is unique. So working with that uniqueness is the ultimate goal when we're working with oils. So thanks for being here. And I am going to pop off now, and I'll be back soon. Thanks.